filing your secondary claims, how much evidence do you really need? You don't really need much. You need something, right, that diagnoses your condition, something, right? So you need a diagnosis. In my opinion, and I don't think I don't think I've really said this much here together. So I'm going to say it now. If a doctor wants to prescribe you medication for your illness condition, say yes, I will take that prescription. Whether you physically take it or not is on you, right? You can decide if you want to eat, right? So you can have that sack at home and you can either eat all those pills or not, right? If you want to eat tan bark and rabbit droppings as some sort of a medicinal concoction, cool. I don't care. Do you? My wife is super she's mad I take Motrin. So everybody, I get it. Look, everybody's in a different wheelhouse as far as that's concerned. The bottom line is that a doctor prescribing you medication, in some cases, not all, will warrant a higher rating simply because of a medication prescription. Now, sorry for the blueness. So the other piece is the way I look at prescriptions is they help to validate or they double down the fact that you have that condition, because no doctor is going to prescribe you X for that if you don't have that. So it's just another piece, again, of evidence that rules in your favor. So for secondaries, you have your secondary condition diagnosed. If you have a prescription, you have a prescription. Go fill it at Safeway or whatever, and anywhere you go, right? And get that little receipt that says what it is with your name on it. Bam, that's another piece of evidence. You're going to need to. This is the most important piece of evidence, or not the most important. It's equally important. So being diagnosed for a secondary condition is vitally important. You can't submit it without it. The other piece is the nexus to the service-connected condition. You want to link the fact that your service-connected condition in some way, it could be the prescription you're taking for that service-connected condition, has now caused this other condition. You need to spell that out. In some cases, it's obvious, right? So like Clay pointed out in a previous video, radiculopathy due to lower lumbar issues is a pretty obvious situation. Just the fact that you have it, it has to come from somewhere, which would be your lower lumbar. And if you're diagnosed already and service connected for that, it all kind of wraps up nicely. Again, I'm a fan of overkill if possible. Get the letter from the doctor to just double it down, because if the VA gets not smart and denies you, it's just more evidence in your favor that you can point out. But if it's not something that is that easy to link together secondary wise, having your medical professional write you that letter that your condition, secondary condition, is as a result of your primary condition that's service connected is a vital component. So it's really just getting those two things, and as soon as you have those, file for it. If you're getting pressed up for time with your intent to file, and you have the diagnosis, but you don't have the letter because the doctors, sometimes it takes a while, right? Mm-hmm. You're reminding them, next thing you know, months went by. So if it took you some time, you might have to file without it and then submit it along the way. The one point that you made, Clay, which I'm so glad you did, is, and there's plenty of people that don't understand it, you can absolutely file for a service-connected condition and a secondary condition at the same time. There's no harm in that. All you're saying is that this condition resulted from service, and this condition was caused because of this condition.
Yeah.
And that's all you're doing. So the VA isn't going, well, wait a minute here. How come you're filing? No, they don't care what you file first. You have to have your service connected in place first, but you can file them at the same time. There's no issue with that. So I'm really glad you said that, Clay.
Oh yeah. And I want to double down on the medication thing. Medication is powerful evidence. It really is. And I'm never going to tell, Jason and I are never going to recommend you not take your medication. Just want to make that clear. But I'll talk about me personally. Do I take every single medication in this bag? No, because I would be in comatose, right? But by getting that prescription, what it tells the VA, so a self-report is one thing. Hey, doc, I get 4 migraines a month. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. Got it. Check. You get 4 migraines a month. Now, if I have sumatriptan at 100 milligram dose and I get 15 pills per bottle, and every 4 months I refill that, and then the next time it's 3 months later I refill that, 4 months later I refill that. What does that tell the VA, the rater, about hard medical evidence with symptoms? That tells them, hey, one, it's frequent, right? You could, whatever the math is for 15 divided by 4 months, whatever that number is, right? But it shows frequency and it shows symptom severity. Sumatriptan is not Tylenol, right? Sumatriptan, I'll tell you what it does to me. It feels like I have sinuses and then it knocks me out. Okay. That's what happens when I take sumatriptan. And so it does alleviate the headache because I'm not awake. Okay. But it shows severity. And so even if you are awarded 0%, that's exactly what happened to me. I was like, hey, I have sumatriptan. I have refills. It's documented. I did a higher level review, and on the phone call, right on the spot, they were like, "Hey, don't worry, we're going to award 50%. You'll see it next week." Boom. The whole higher level review lasted about 3 minutes. Now, why was that possible? Because I had the evidence. I cannot stress getting evidence. Medication is hard proof of severity, and then whatever that condition is. But I love that. I don't love medication obviously because I don't take all of mine. But if I need to, I will. So I absolutely love that for medical evidence specifically. Now, moving on to when is it too late to file a claim? And it kind of goes back to our discussion about submitting an initial claim and a secondary at the same time. Generally speaking, we'll see that in older veterans. Older meaning, let's just say 40 and up. So you've been out of
Hey,
the
hey,
military
hey,
for
hey, hey, hey.
you've been out of the military for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You could see how logically your conditions that aren't service connected would have developed secondary claims. Okay. So, hypothetically, I'm not saying do this, but hypothetically, you could file for whatever and have 5 secondaries based off that. Now, you're going to want evidence for all 5 of those. I just want to be upfront for that. But the answer is, when is it too late to file a claim? The answer is when you die. When you die is when it's too late to file a claim.